Welcome to my quick guide and analysis for Floowandereeze. A stun/control deck introduced on the 11th of July 2022 with the Wandering Travelers selection pack. Later, in the form of Advent of Adventure being introduced in Cosmic Ocean, another powerful card was added to its collection. The core list is contrived of 3 Rabina, 3 Eglan, 1 Street, 1 Takan, 1 Empen, 1 Raise of the Mega Monarch, 2 Map, 1 Explored Winds, 3 Advent, and 1 Dreaming Town. Totaling 8 SRs and 3 URs. Floowandereeze is a deck based on predominantly normal summons and can stitch together multiple normal summons a turn. It even has options to normal summon on the opponent's turn, aka our turn. The deck has small level 1 birds which will get banished after leaving the field but can return to hand on another normal summon, and 2 big birds with Empen being the only useful one. Please don't play Snowl, even though its animation is magnificent. The Floo base plan is to stun or control the opponent's plays. This can be achieved by a setup of Empen plus Dreaming Town with the possible additions of Map and or Explored Winds on your turn to disrupt the opponent. Another option is aiming to go second whilst running board breakers to remove the opponent's setup and complete yours during that turn. Rabina, Eglan and Map are the facilitators of this setup and you should make sure their effects are successfully resolved. Good to note for the small birds, when normal summon their main effect needs to resolve in order to provide additional normal summons, that's why getting those to resolve is important. With the banning of the wind statue, the focus will be more on Empen/Reza, or the more expensive Apex Avian. Below you'll find some cheap additions to the deck with most notably Book of Moon able to dodge opponents' negates and Jack in the hand being able to search your small birds. Some more expensive options include the pot cards to draw, Apex Avian as another boss/negate monster and Dimension Shifter to completely shut down an opponent during their turn. Great examples of board breakers are Lightning Storm and Dark Ruler, to name a few. Now some example deck lists, with on the left hand side a cheap alternative to the expensive right hand side list. The pros and cons: the deck is easy to learn and doesn't have the highest skill ceiling. Is unaffected by some of the meta hand traps, e.g. Max C, or can dodge some of their effects with Advent or Book of Moon. Is great in the grind game once the small bird loop is up and running and can run Shifter in its main list. They do have a bad reputation for being degenerate, which was also emphasized by the addition of the wind statue. They have generally poor recovery when Rabina, Eglan or even Map get successfully negated, can occasionally brick and due to its relative simplicity can be sometimes boring to play after a longer period of time. Lastly, even though the cards are cheap, they tend to be harder to get nowadays as both Wandering Travelers and Cosmic Ocean are no longer part of the selection pack lists. Its main win condition is nowadays more about controlling the opponent, albeit Empen is still a powerful stun card. Therefore, the deck scores high on these parameters. It does have some combo lines which are linear and do set up your board, but aren't considered a real win condition. Despite the banning of Wind Statue, it still has meta relevancy, but far from the best decks in the game. It can still perform very well against certain matchups or catch opponents off guard. However, I would not generally recommend Floo to newer players, mainly because the cards are hard to get and probably need to be crafted. If the cards are more easily accessible, or if you have large parts of the core deck lying around, it could be a great addition to your list of decks though. For now, cheers until next time.